Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to remind each and every one of you that your prayers have been heard. Yes, even when silence seems to echo louder than your voice, God has listened. A miracle is on its way. When you open your heart and lift your voice in prayer, it's easy to feel like you're speaking into an empty room, like your words are bouncing back with no response. But I want you to understand something foundational and powerful. God is listening, even when the silence feels deafening. Even when you wonder if your prayers are falling on deaf ears, the truth remains. God hears every whisper, every cry, every silent plea. He is present in your pain, to your hope and your faith. There's a divine attentiveness to your life that you might not always see with your eyes, but rest assured it's there. It's active. It's working behind the scenes. Many of us have experienced moments where we've poured our hearts out in prayer, begging, pleading, crying, only to be met with what feels like silence. That silence can be deafening and it can shake our confidence. We ask ourselves, does he hear me? Is my prayer being ignored? Has God forgotten about me? But what if I told you that those moments of silence are not denials? They are not signs that your prayer has gone unheard. Instead, they are the space where faith is tested and strengthened. They are the quiet before the miracle, the waiting room where patience is cultivated. God's listening isn't limited to the times when you're loud and clear. It's in the silent moments, in the tears that fall when no one is watching, in the quiet heartbreak when the words fail you. He has a divine record of every prayer you've ever whispered, every plea you've made, and every hope you've carried. When you pray, you are speaking into a divine ear that's tuned in specifically to you. You might not see immediate results, but that does not mean your prayers are not being heard. It means your story is still unfolding, and the divine response is being prepared. Think about the nature of love. When someone loves you deeply, they listen not just to your words, but to your silence, to your unspoken fears, to your hopes that you don't even have the courage to voice out loud. That's how God loves us, patiently, attentively, with unwavering focus. He's not distracted by the noise of the world or the chaos of your circumstances. His focus remains fixed on you. Your prayers are recorded in heaven, stored in the archives of divine memory, and they are precious to him. Nothing you say to God is ever too small or too insignificant. Every prayer matters because it's an expression of your heart, and understanding that God listens changes everything. It shifts your perspective from one of desperation to one of hope. It transforms your prayer from a mere ritual into a divine conversation. When you know your words reach heaven and that your Creator is attentive to your voice, it gives you a new kind of confidence. It empowers you to keep praying even when answers seem delayed, because delay does not mean denial. Delay is divine timing, and divine timing is perfect. Once you grasp that truth, you realize that your prayers are like seeds planted in fertile soil. They may not sprout overnight, but they are always growing beneath the surface. Sometimes it's the waiting that develops your faith muscles and deepens your trust. Your prayers are being stored up in heaven, ready to manifest at the right moment. Trust in that process. Trust that the one who listens is also the one who loves you enough to wait for the perfect timing to unveil his plan. Remember, the divine is never in a rush. He's working on a timeline that is far beyond our understanding. This understanding should encourage you to keep praying with persistence and confidence. Your voice matters to the divine. Your heart's cry doesn't fall on deaf ears. It echoes in the corridors of heaven, where divine power is at work on your behalf. Sometimes the answer is already on its way, but it's taking a little longer to arrive because it's being refined, prepared, and perfected. When you realize this, you can rest in peace knowing that your prayers are not lost, but they are being heard and stored for the perfect moment of manifestation. It's not always easy to hold on to that truth when life's storms threaten to drown out your faith. But that's the moment to remember that the divine is always listening, even when you can't see or feel it. Your faith is like a radio signal, sometimes clear, sometimes faint, but the divine signal is always present. Even when you feel like you're speaking into an empty void, remember the divine is tuned in to your frequency. He is listening and he is working. Now, moving into the second key point, the power of faith and perseverance. We move from understanding that God listens to recognizing the strength that faith gives us to wait with hope. Faith is not just a passive belief. It's an active stance that says, I trust that God's got this, even when I don't see it yet. Faith is the anchor that keeps us grounded in the storm. The unwavering belief that what is unseen is already happening behind the scenes. When you hold on to faith, You're declaring that your circumstances do not define your reality, that divine power is greater than any obstacle you face. Perseverance then becomes the natural extension of faith. It's the act of continuing to believe, to pray, to hope, even when progress seems slow or absent. Think about it. Faith and perseverance are like a team working together. Faith plants the seed of hope, and perseverance waters it daily with your actions, your words, your unwavering trust. It's easy to believe when everything is going well, but true faith is tested in the difficult times when giving up seems tempting. Perseverance is what keeps your faith alive when circumstances try to drown it out. Many stories in life serve as powerful reminders that perseverance pays off. When you refuse to give up, even in the face of setbacks, your faith becomes a testimony of divine strength working through you. It's that persistent prayer, that unwavering trust that keeps the door open for miracles to unfold. When you persevere, you're telling God, I believe in your power even when I can't see it right now. I trust that you are working on my behalf. Even in the waiting, perseverance also teaches us patience, an often misunderstood virtue. Patience doesn't mean passivity or resignation. It's active trust. It's choosing to stand firm on the promises of God, knowing that His timing is perfect. Patience is the posture of the believer who understands that God's delays are not denials, but divine delays that are working for your good. It's the confidence that the promise is worth the wait, because you know the one who made the promise is faithful. Holding on to faith and perseverance is not always easy. There are days when doubt creeps in, and the weight of unanswered prayer feels heavy, but that's when you lean into divine strength. That's when you remind yourself that your faith is not based on what you see, but on what you believe. Faith is the evidence of things hoped for and the assurance of things not seen. It's the conviction that even in the silence, God is orchestrating something extraordinary on your behalf. The power of faith and perseverance is what transforms ordinary moments into extraordinary testimonies. It turns waiting into a testimony of trust. It transforms frustration into faith. When you persist in prayer, when you refuse to let go of hope, you're aligning yourself with divine power that is greater than any circumstance. You're declaring that your life is in the hands of a faithful God who listens, who cares, and who will answer in His perfect time. In the midst of the waiting, remember that your perseverance is shaping you. It's strengthening your character, deepening your trust, and preparing you to receive what's coming. Every moment you choose faith over despair, hope over hopelessness, you're building a foundation that can withstand any storm. Keep praying, keep believing, and keep persevering because your miracle is on its way. The divine is working. Trust that, believe that, and hold on to that truth with everything within you. Many times we find ourselves caught up in the rush of life. It's rushing to see results, rushing to the finish line of our prayers, rushing to the moment when everything feels right. But what if I told you that miracles, true, divine miracles, don't always appear in the way we expect or on the timeline we desire? What if the most profound breakthroughs happen in divine timing? When we learn to trust that the universe or the divine is working behind the scenes, orchestrating circumstances far beyond our understanding. It's a lesson in patience, humility, and trust, trusting that what is meant for you will arrive exactly when it's supposed to. Divine timing isn't just a fancy phrase. It's a vital truth that shapes how we view our lives and our prayers. We tend to want immediate answers, quick fixes, instant solutions. And there's nothing wrong with wanting things to happen now. But if we're honest, life doesn't always operate on our schedule. Sometimes it seems like everything is delayed, doors closing, opportunities slipping away, setbacks piling up. But what if I told you that these delays are not signs of rejection, but signs of divine preparation? That what feels like a setback is actually a setup for something greater. Because when God is involved, delays are often the divine way of refining us, aligning us, and getting us ready for what's next. When you understand that divine timing is perfect, you begin to see your life through a different lens. You stop rushing and start trusting. You realize that every prayer, every tear, every moment of waiting is part of a divine process designed to prepare you for the next level. It's like planting a seed. You don't expect an apple tree to grow overnight. You nurture it, water it, protect it, and wait patiently as it develops roots underground. One day, suddenly a sprout emerges. That's how miracles work. They're germinating beneath the surface, growing in the unseen, until the right moment when everything aligns and the miracle blossoms. This divine timing requires us to develop a deep sense of patience. Patience isn't passive. It's active trust in the divine plan. It's choosing to believe that even when you don't see evidence of progress, progress is happening. It's trusting that the divine is working behind the scenes, orchestrating circumstances, and preparing the ground for your breakthrough. Sometimes, the delay is a gift because it allows for growth, for refinement, and for your character to be strengthened. Patience teaches us humility, the humility to accept that we don't have all the answers and that divine wisdom surpasses our understanding. Think about the power of waiting well. Waiting is not just about passing time. It's about how you carry yourself during those moments of silence and stillness. Waiting with faith means you're still prayerful, still hopeful, still active in trusting that the divine is up to something good. Waiting with patience means you refuse to become bitter or frustrated, even when circumstances seem to contradict your hopes. Instead, you choose to believe that your story is unfolding exactly as it should. You hold on to hope that what you've asked for is being prepared in the unseen, that your divine moment is being cultivated in the secret place. It's important to remember that divine timing doesn't mean you're waiting forever. It means you're trusting that everything is happening at the right time, according to divine wisdom. Sometimes we get impatient because we're looking at the clock instead of looking at the divine. We measure progress by how quickly things happen, but in the divine economy, timing is everything. When you embrace divine timing, you free yourself from the burden of rushing and the frustration of delays. You begin to relax into the process, knowing that God's timing is perfect and his plans are good. Miracles happen in divine timing because they are a part of a larger story, a story that's woven with divine purpose. When you look back at your life, you realize that the most significant breakthroughs often came after seasons of waiting and trusting. Those seasons of delay were not detours, they were divine appointments, preparing you for what was to come. When you understand this, you can rest in peace in the waiting, knowing that your miracle is being cultivated in the unseen, in the secret place where divine growth takes root. The key is to remain hopeful and to keep your heart open during the waiting period. Don't allow disappointment or frustration to overshadow your faith. Instead, see every delay as an invitation to grow, to deepen your trust, and to develop patience. When you trust divine timing, you're aligning yourself with the rhythm of heaven, which moves at a pace that's perfect for your life. You learn to surrender control, knowing that the divine is moving all things together for your good. The good news is that patience and perseverance are twin forces that will carry you through the toughest seasons. They are the virtues that help you hold on when the road seems long and the light at the end of the tunnel appears faint. When you learn to trust divine timing, you begin to see setbacks as setups, delays as divine appointments, and waiting as a part of your divine inheritance. Your miracle is not just a possibility. It's a promise rooted in divine sovereignty. It's on its way, and when it arrives, you'll look back and realize that every moment of waiting was worth it. Moving from divine timing to the power of personal stories, I want to tell you that many who have gone before you have stood at this very crossroads, trusting in divine timing, holding on to hope, and persevering through delays. Their stories are proof that miracles, when they do come, are worth the wait. They show us that divine delay is often a divine setup, and that the greatest breakthroughs happen when you're willing to trust the process, even when you don't understand it. These stories aren't just tales of luck or coincidence. They are testimonies of divine faithfulness. They remind us that you are not alone in your waiting, and that the divine is always working on your behalf, even when you can't see it. When you understand and embrace divine timing, you start to see your life as part of a bigger picture, one that you may not fully understand right now, but one that is unfolding perfectly. It's about trusting that the divine isn't just giving you what you want, but is preparing you for what you need. It's about seeing every delay as a divine detour that's leading you towards your destiny. When you hold on to this truth, you can relax into the process and let patience be your guide. Because in the divine economy, timing is everything, and your miracle is being prepared exactly when it's supposed to be. Now, shifting into the next key point, personal stories of breakthrough. These are not merely inspiring tales, but living proof that divine timing and divine listening are real. They serve as a source of hope, a reminder that your story is still being written and that your miracle is on its way. Every setback, every delay, every moment of waiting is a chapter in a story designed to elevate you, refine you, and prepare you for what's coming. Hold on to hope, keep trusting divine timing, and remember that your miracle is worth every moment of the wait. The divine is working, and your breakthrough is nearer than you think. There's a power that resides within each of us, a divine spark that can ignite change, transform circumstances, and elevate our lives beyond what we can see with our natural eyes. That power is rooted in your faith, faith that is alive, active, and relentless. Faith isn't just a quiet belief tucked away in the corners of your heart. It's a bold declaration that says, I believe in the impossible because I serve a God who specializes in making the impossible possible. Faith is the bridge that connects the seen to the unseen, the tangible to the divine, the temporary to eternity. It's the unwavering conviction that no matter how bleak the situation appears, divine power is at work. It's orchestrating victories in the unseen realm. The truth is, faith is the currency of the kingdom. It's what grants us access to divine resources, divine wisdom, and divine strength. When you show up in faith, you're not just hoping for a good outcome. You're declaring that you believe the divine has already gone ahead of you, preparing the way, and that your breakthrough is already on its way. Faith is the act of speaking life into dead situations, declaring that what is broken will be restored, what is lost will be found, and what seems impossible will become possible through divine intervention. Faith is also a mindset. It's a perspective that refuses to be dominated by fear or doubt. It's an unwavering trust that the divine's plan for your life is good, that his promises are yes and amen, and that his word never returns void. When you walk by faith, you're walking with your eyes fixed on the divine, not on your limitations. You're acknowledging that your strength comes from above and that your victory is not dependent on your own power, but on divine grace and divine favor. Faith is the fuel that keeps you moving forward when everything around you tries to tell you to give up, to turn back, or to settle for less. There are moments in life when faith must be activated intentionally, especially when circumstances threaten to drown your confidence. You have to choose to believe even when the evidence seems to suggest otherwise. Faith requires a deliberate act of your will, choosing to trust in divine promises over your present realities. It's about speaking life over your situation, declaring God's word over your circumstances, and refusing to accept defeat as your final chapter. Faith is a posture of the heart that says, God, I trust you above all else, and I believe that you are working all things together for my good. Faith isn't always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it's a whisper, quiet but powerful, reminding you that the divine is at work, even when you don't see it. It's in the small acts of obedience and the little steps of trust and the persistent prayers that linger long after the noise of the world has faded. Faith is built daily through your choices to believe when it's hard, to hope when it's bleak, to trust when the delay persists. It's a daily declaration that says, I believe, I receive, and I will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. The more you exercise your faith, the stronger it becomes. Faith is like a muscle. It grows with use, stretching beyond its comfort zone and into the realm of the supernatural. When you face adversity, your faith is stretched, and you discover that you are stronger than you thought. When you stand firm in faith, you become a living testimony that divine power is real and accessible. Your faith isn't just for your benefit. It's a witness to others that the divine is alive and active in the earth today. Your life becomes a testament, a living proof that faith works, that hope endures, and that divine promises are yes and amen. Faith also calls for perseverance. It's easy to believe when everything is going well, but true faith is tested in the storm. It's in the waiting, the suffering, and the struggles that your faith is refined and strengthened. Perseverance is the act of holding on to your faith despite the circumstances that threaten to pull you away. It's choosing to believe in divine promises even when the evidence looks contrary. Perseverance is what keeps your hope alive and your trust unwavering in the face of delay or disappointment. It's the determination to keep praying, keep hoping, keep believing even when it feels like the universe is silent. When you persevere in faith, you're not just surviving, you're thriving. You're declaring that you serve a God who is faithful, who keeps his promises, and who will come through for you in his perfect timing. Perseverance is what turns small acts of faith into monumental breakthroughs. It's what transforms ordinary moments into extraordinary testimonies. You begin to see that faith isn't just about believing for the big things. It's about a lifestyle of unwavering trust that sustains you through every season. It's about knowing that your faith is a seed, and when cultivated with perseverance, it will bear fruit that lasts. Faith and perseverance go hand in hand. It's working together to push you past every obstacle, every doubt, every fear that dares to stand in your way. They are the spiritual armor that guard your heart and keep your hope alive. When you lean into faith and persevere through the challenges, you position yourself for divine intervention. You open the door for miracles to flow into your life because you've declared that you believe in the divine power that moves mountains, calms storms, and turns tragedy into triumph. Your faith isn't just a silent belief, it's a declaration that you are on the winning side because divine power is working on your behalf. When you understand the true power of faith and perseverance, you realize that your story is still being written. You are not defined by your setbacks or your delays. You are defined by your unwavering trust in the divine. Your faith is the foundation that sustains you, and perseverance is the act of standing firm on that foundation, even when the ground shakes. It's about holding on to hope and trusting that divine power is greater than any obstacle you face. Your faith and perseverance are the keys that unlock the door to your divine destiny, and nothing can stop the divine plan when you walk in that confident trust. Every prayer you pray, every act of faith, every moment of perseverance is building a legacy of divine victory that will inspire generations to come, reminding them that with faith, nothing is impossible, and with perseverance, all things are possible for those who believe. Now, as we move into the 6 key points, I want to remind you that your story isn't over. It's still being written, and you are the author of your faith journey. Every challenge, every delay, every moment of doubt is an opportunity to deepen your trust and to grow stronger in divine power. Your faith is not just a feeling. It's a declaration that the divine is bigger than your circumstances and that your perseverance is shaping your destiny. Your story is a testimony in the making, a testament to divine faithfulness that will echo for generations. Keep believing, keep trusting, keep persevering because the divine is working. And your breakthrough is nearer than you think.